Hi, I'm Tiny Joy Now, and today I built Wayne's cabin that I am going to be using in my Love Witch LP, and I'm so pumped about it. Now I'm going to do the best I can and talk as fast as I can, because my neighbors behind me just feel that they would like to weed whack today and mow their lawn for hours and hours and hours. So I've been trying to record this voiceover for quite some time. But you gotta, work with what you got. So we're making Wayne's cabin, and this is awesome. This is the first place our main character, Elaine, kills someone. Unintentionally, though. I don't mean to spoil anything. It won't take away from your enjoyment, I will tell you that, but you'll be really interested to see how it unfolds, because I'll leave it at that, it's unintentional. But let me tell you about Wayne and what a great guy he is, and kind of what a great match he is for Elaine. Now, our beloved Elaine, who you will come to know and love, she's just a girl who's been through a lot, and she just wants more out of life, and she knows what she wants. She's pretty self-assured by that, from kind of the turmoil she's been through in her life, and she feels she has a right to happiness and love and everything she wants, and as she puts it, I want my fairy tale. And you can't blame her, that's what she wants. And so when she meets Wayne, in my personal opinion, out of all the men she kind of gets to know, Wayne feels like the best match for her. Now, the movie is very, 70s theme. Oh, I forgot to mention that. This LP is highly influenced off of the beloved The Love Witch movie that came out, I think in the beginning the beginning of this year or the end of last year in 2016. Please check it out. It's by Anna Brill. She wrote, she directed it. She literally sewed the costumes, painted the paintings. She's a mad woman of creativity. So amazing and awesome. She's my personal hero. Anyways, so this is like a horror murder mystery or I don't know about mystery, a horror thing. And I just loved it so much, I have to make my own LP and kind of take it a little bit further. Because when the cabin is kind of left on its own, we never see Wayne, any of Wayne's family members show up and kind of claim, to take care of it or anything like that, or find out what happened to their beloved family member, maybe a separated wife or something. And I would like to take the story further in that way. Now, Wayne is just the bee's knees. He is such a lovely guy. He is quite sexy. He's a quite sexy guy. I would say he's newly salt and pepper. I would say he's probably 35. Still young, still hip, but he's starting to be a little more comfortable with his aging. And he has a cabin in the woods. He is a teacher and a writer, and just kind of like a low-key guy that loves nature, and he's pretty likable. He just seems like a very likable guy. One thing I really like about him is they do clearly state, it's stated a couple times, that it's not uncommon for him to bring girls up to his cabin, and kind of insinuating he's a bit of a successful bachelor. Now, normally bachelors, I find in other Simmers LPs, as well as even movies, it's such a negative thing to be a bachelor. Either it's highly regarded, it's seen positive, but as, most people watching it, you're like, oh, they seem kind of like a jerk, They're not given the best limelight because you're not supposed to date around and so on and so forth. But Wayne is different. He makes being a bachelor and a single human being the right way. I feel like when he approaches a girl, he's not skeevy, he's not trying to falsely, create a love tale and tell them that he loves them. Nothing of the sort. He's just like, hey, what's up? How are you? If he vibes it and they feel comfortable, he might offer, hey, I have a cabin, you want to hang out? And I feel he's pretty upfront about the whole thing, but also very loving. I feel like he'd be the kind of guy where if you hooked up with him later and you saw him, he wouldn't make it weird. And, okay, hold on, I have to go on a rant. This is one of the biggest things that pisses me off with the way I see even my guy friends treat girls like this. Okay, fun fact. Whatever you do with a girl or a guy, let's say maybe you don't even, you don't even woohoo, you just make out or something, whatever. You don't have to make it weird. You can literally say that, hey, that was a nice moment. We connected and enjoyed each other for that, night or moment. And we can see each other move on and have a maturity to expect that the other person who made out with us isn't obsessed with us. Like, I always notice guys, not, this is, I don't want to be sexist and say this is every guy, but like, I have met many of my guy friends be like, oh, that girl, like, there she is, it's so awkward. I'm like, why is it awkward? She's not trying to even talk to you. She too wanted it to be just but a moment. But I also think that if you see each other, it can be pretty chill and just be like, oh, hey, what's up? And if anything, you kind of have like a little special connection. Even, I know this is going to be really weird and way too personal, but when I have made out with boys and I have seen them later and seen them with and they have like a girlfriend, there's no weirdness between us. And if anything, we have like a really nice conversation about their new girlfriend. I'm like, oh, that's so great. Because that's what it was for just us. It was but just a moment. We didn't need to make it weird. So I really appreciate, and I feel like Wayne's the same way. So he's kind of the perfect guy for Elaine for a multitude of reasons. He, first of all, is totally her aesthetic, like 70s, a little bit older, low key, open minded. He's really a gentle guy that gets what she's kind of throwing down. He has a really cluttered house, which I appreciate. I love making cluttered houses. You can tell it's because, of course, it is an idealized movie. It is really pretty clutter, but you can tell he loves just researching his books. He likes getting in deep. He doesn't feel he needs to rush. He is a soothing soul, and that's why I feel like he mixes with Anna, or I'm so sorry, Anna is the director. I mean, Elaine so well. But poor Elaine, oh goodness, I would say she doesn't know what she has until she loses it. Or what's the word? She doesn't know how to just appreciate what she has and then leave it. Leave it alone. Don't mess with it. It all is good. Like, a guy will say, Elaine, you're so beautiful. I'm so into you. And she's like, it's not enough. And then they are, she takes it to the next level and they are so into her and they are obsessed with her, and then she can't handle it. I mean, the girl does not, she's very immature in that way, and she just can't handle the consequences. However, she's quite a sociopath because, well, one, she murders people, but she tends to, she'll be in danger of some sort, and then she's so quick to just be like, I know I just was held at gunpoint, but I'm still gonna follow through with this idea, even though everything's pointing to me that it's not right. She's pretty dumb in that way, but you gotta love her nonetheless. Now we're building the beautiful kitchen that Elaine makes breakfast for Wayne in, and it would have been amazing, man, if I could have that kitchen in real life. Very sunny, lots and lots of windows. Really adorable pink tile, kind of like pinky orangey tile. Again, cluttered counter. I don't know how this man doesn't have a grocer, like there's no bugs or anything. It's like clean clutter, which is, I think we can all appreciate clean clutter. But like she somehow, with the limited counter space, makes him breakfast very lovingly, and he is a wreck kind of after their night of passion together. Now, this is a really cool idea. This is such a great idea. I actually got this from watching one of Lil Sims's fixer-uppers. I cannot remember who it is, but they did such a great job on the little details. And one of the little details they did was they put the pots and pans in the sink. So it's so cool. It actually looks like he was doing dishes of some sort. I try to replicate the same idea with a washcloth on, hanging off the countertops, but I was a little worried if my Sims would, lose their mind and not be able to handle it, so I took it out. It wasn't an absolutely necessary detail. And I wanted to add these beautiful orange curtains behind the counters, but, it was going to cover up a lot of the clutter I had set up, so I was like, okay, that's just not happening. That's not happening. Something I really like about this movie, and I think this scene perfectly captures it, is normally in a horror film, it always highlights around the woman being in trouble. Usually the women are the victim. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys get murdered in horror films, but definitely women are more preyed upon. And I think, your everyday girl can definitely agree that is, an issue. But it's interesting in this movie, he's the one who takes a chance on a random stranger, and instead of, often, of course, when it's like written by a guy, not I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but they tend to be like, oh, he just picks up a one woman and everything's wonderful. But for some reason, in a lot of movies, like the woman picks up a guy and the guy's like a killer. Like that's awful. Can't women spontaneously pick up guys too? And she ends up being the killer. She ends up being someone not to be trusted. But I will say this, though. It is accidental. It is. I'm not trying to stick up for her, but it is. It's really interesting, too, because she starts off as an accidental killer. And she is sorry about it. But, like the true sociopath she is, she gets over it a little too quickly. Like, our girl feels not a lot of remorse. She lets go of that pain real quick. And she kind of is just quick to be like, well, that's a part of life. Death is a part of life. Don't worry about it. And while you can totally make the excuse initially that it was an accident, as time goes on, it's like, girl, accident schmaccident. You kind of are intentionally going out of your way. And other times when she doesn't intentionally go out of her way, she kind of knows that death is imminent, and she doesn't care. She doesn't care that she's messing up someone's life. She doesn't care that it could affect others surrounding them. And that's where she's truly a psycho. Like, she truly is messed up in that way. And I feel sorry for anyone who falls in her path. Now, Wayne's Cabin, I said this before in the commentary, but I'll say it again. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play with this cabin more, because we only really see it twice in the movie. But I think it would be great if maybe an extended family member of Wayne kind of dropped in, watching over the cabin, trying to go through the will and last testament of Wayne. Maybe while they're in the cabin, they find some clues. Maybe they become obsessed with it. Maybe Elaine left behind some demonic, vibes. Maybe they become obsessed with her. Maybe, and whether it's romantic or, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be even better if initially it starts out where they're like psychotic and they have a problem with her, but then as time goes on, they are like, you know what? I'm down with your witch stuff. Show me the way. And they end up wanting to become her apprentice. That would be insane. So I spent a lot of time building this. Does anyone else deal with this? So I want to be really immersive in my story plays. I've taken a new challenge on doing that in the last couple months when I've been playing by myself, and especially for this channel. And while I love being very immersive in what I'm doing, and I appreciate spending so long doing it, I'm such a psycho. I'll spend literally 4 or 5 hours just hand meticulously, decorating these places. And then I don't know. I don't end up using it more than once. And not because I'm bored or it's a bad place to play, but I'm someone who always wants my story progression, moving forward. So I really want to change that around in this particular LP and try to use these places more than once, so that they kind of, they get as much love as they possibly deserve, and I can have the most fun. I mean, it's like, I made these to be fun, so I want to get the most fun out of them. Now we're in Wayne's adorable little kind of like study room. Okay, can we just talk about the idea of success? In my opinion, if you are fortunate enough to have maybe you have like a smaller apartment or like a smaller house, somewhere where you live, wherever you work or something. But if you're fortunate enough to have either a beach home or like a cabin or something, and kind of have it the way he has it, where you can tell he goes there to chill out, and yes, he brings girls back there, but you can tell he definitely gets writing done. I think that you're really killing it via success. You're really like, life is working out well for you. And this is his area where you can tell, even, it's not as terribly cluttered as the other room. You can tell he kind of drops his research by the front door, and he just runs up to his computer and he focuses on writing. Maybe if he needs a second, he'll play on his foosball. But as you can tell, it's really open and kind of not as jam-packed as the other rooms. But I also think that's intentional. I mean, it was definitely intentional when I was building it, but I think it's intentional that he did that because one, I think it's just like he's not even realizing he's doing it because, like I said, he's probably just running up wanting to write and work on whatever he wants to work on. But as a creative person myself, I find that I'm actually a writer too. When I want to write, I love being in like a big empty, like my office is like a big empty room that pretty much doesn't have much in it, but it like lets my head think better, not to be distracted. And also it kind of makes you feel more open. And that's why I also like writing in areas or working generally creatively in areas with lots of windows. I don't know if you feel the same way too. Let me know in the comments below. Now, this is one of my favorite parts. I love it so much. Basically, towards the end, Elaine has to go in the backyard. And I'll just leave it at that. She has to go in the backyard. And there's this long, winding road. Now, what's so cool about where Wayne's cabin is, it's like a weird mix between, because they filmed in Eureka, California, it's like a weird mix between the beach and like the pine woods. I don't know. It's really a great, interesting texture when you kind of look at the landscape more. And so it has this long winding path, kind of like, when you go to the beach and there's that tall, like strawy grass, it's kind of that similar vibe, but if it was pumped with a little more green from the vegetation around it. And I think I actually did a pretty decent job replicating that long winding path in the backyard. So I'm pretty proud about that. And then I filled in the rest with woods because this is just like a little house and, a little cabin in the woods tucked away. And it's really like, it's a really nice, I just love that we don't have a terrain tool in The Sims. So I really like that feeling of multi like environments going on in the same place. So sometimes there's parts of the lot that feel a little more squished and condensed and other parts that feel a lot more open. And I just think it's really fun to play in something like that. Oh, look at it. Look at it. Don't you just want to go down that road, that winding path? So beautiful. And here I'm adding a bit of the driveway when he pulls up with Elaine in the car. Because again, he had a great like 70s like Cadillac that I thought was really cool. Again, remember it's modern day, but definitely Anna the director had that 70s vibe, very key in her mind. Now I'm furnishing off the rest of Wayne's cabin. We're coming up to the end of the video soon. And I love his terrain because it's a little bit idealized and definitely looks beautiful. And maybe he asks someone to come up once in a while and, trim a bit of bushes and add a bit of flowers. But for the most part, you can tell he doesn't go out of his way to have an actual garden, to mow the surrounding weeds. He does not care. It's just a beautiful little slice of heaven that's kind of idealized mix between messy and kind of, groomed, which I think is really, I think I did a pretty decent job capturing, and I hope you enjoy playing in too. By the way, you can actually put this, you can download this in the gallery. I do have a link in the description below for my origin name, and it's under Wayne's Cabin. But I hope you look forward to the Love Witch LP. It's gonna be so awesome! And, please give a like and subscribe and comment. I make new videos every day at 3 p.m. And yeah, it's so awesome. I'm pumped. Get excited for murder, love, and cabins. Have a nice day, everyone.